Is your child a natural-born entertainer? Now is their chance to join the most talented youth dance crew in the Mid-South, the Blue Bunch. The Blue Bunch entertains Grizz Nation with their energetic dance routines and even have the opportunity to collaborate on performances with leading artists in the entertainment industry. Kids ages 7 to 17 are invited to show off their skills and personality for their chance to join the next generation of NBA entertainers. Open auditions are Saturday, June 28th. Visit grizzlies.com/auditions now for more information.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
1, 2, 3. Ready, go.
Dance Kid Dance Tour. Live in Memphis. FedEx Forum, Saturday, August 30th. With special guests, Bush and Morgan Wade. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Shinedown, live in concert. For more, visit shinedown.com.
Live from the Built Ford Tough studio at FedEx Forum, it's the Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South, on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app. Now, here's your host, Gary Parrish.
What's up, y'all? It's Friday. I'm Lane Whitaker sitting in for Gary Parrish this week. Joined as always by Bennett Doyle. We got a big show for you on Friday, get you ready for the weekend. But we got to start with the NBA Finals last night, where the Indiana Pacers even it up 3 games apiece, giving us a Game 7 Sunday night in Oklahoma City for all the marbles. Michael Wallace is also going to join us. We'll talk about the NBA. We'll talk about Grizzlies draft going forward and all things basketball related. Then we got 5 things we got to talk about. Padres Dodgers got a little feisty.
That got
last
wild,
night.
yeah.
There was College World Series final is this weekend. Your Hogs got knocked out, Bennett. And we got some other stuff to talk about. Movies. Bennett made a wise choice yesterday and went to the movies instead of doing work around the house.
Damn right I did.
We'll talk about that too. But thanks for joining us. Let's start with last night in Indianapolis, where thought we might get a good game. Thought we might see another battle between these two teams, a close game. I actually had to go to a dinner last night, so the first half I had my phone up and I was just monitoring the score. I was about 10 minutes from my house. I leave to go home. It's a close game. I get home and I literally walk in the house right in time to see Pascal Siakam dunk all over Jalen Williams. 30-9 run by the Pacers kind of put that thing away in the second quarter. And then the second half, I was a little bit nervous for the Pacers because we saw the Thunder come back from, 29 against the Grizzlies and get the win. So I was like, you know they can do it, but they didn't do it. And the Pacers won that thing going away, 108-91, setting up a Game 7 on Sunday. Bennett, I was – all the numbers I've been looking at, the one that I saw this morning that jumped out to me was games in which Shai Gilgeous-Alexander shoots less than 10 free throws in this series. The Thunder are 0-3. Games in
Interesting stat there. Interesting
Shai
stat there.
Gilgeous-Alexander
Wow.
shoots more than 10 free throws. 3-0.
Who would have thought?
I know. Not me.
Who would have thought? He wasn't the free throw merchant last night, was he? No, it was listen, man. This has been a great series. I'm really fired up. We're getting a Game 7.
Yeah.
I still I still, probably tend to lean Thunder just because I said that I didn't think that the Pacers were going to be able to win another game in Oklahoma City, why I thought that Game 4 was so important for them.
Yeah.
But I don't know, dude. I mean, after last night, it did feel a little bit like, okay, we don't have it tonight. We're gonna go win
Pack
this
it
thing
in,
in game
save it
7.
up, yeah.
But dude, that is a risky because
Yes.
listen, man, they packed it in last night.
The same thing, though, like from the flip side of that is that lets the Pacers pack it in, and you've got an injured Tyrese Halliburton that now you get to rest for the fourth quarter.
That's right. Like, I just, watching that game, I thought the Thunder gave up. I did, especially in that fourth quarter. And so I don't know if it's going to matter for them. I think I still would probably bet that they're going to win the NBA championship. I would assume they're going to have an amazing effort.
What's the line?
In Game 7? I bet I'm going to say Oklahoma City -9.
All right. Let's see. Let me find the.
Yeah, I'll say OKC -9. Or no, OKC -8.5.
OKC -7.5.
Okay. That was close. That was pretty close. Yeah, I figured they'd be a pretty big favorite. And I wouldn't even be surprised if it moves more in their favor as we get closer to that game.
I mean, the one thing that could happen in Game 7, who knows if it does, all those dudes on the Thunder who've been shooting lights out could not make a shot in Game 6.
Right.
Chet Holmgren 0 for 3 on threes. Jalen Williams 0 for 4. Lou Dortz 1 for 5. Caruso 0 for 1. Like, all those guys have been like knocking down all those open three-pointers when somebody drives and kicks. Those weren't going in. And if they shoot, the starters for the Thunder shot 1 for 13 on threes. The team was 8 for 30. If they shoot that poorly in Game 7, they don't have a chance.
I completely agree. That's why I think it's just, again, it's risky to play like you did last night.
Yeah.
And just assume you're going to be good at home 7. For a Game 7. I mean, I can remember once upon a time, like that Grizzlies Clippers series when in Game 1 the Grizzlies gave up that massive fourth quarter lead, and then Nick Young hits the 3 3-pointers in under a minute, and the thing flips, and the Clippers steal that Game 1, and the Grizzlies are able to force it to a Game 7 at home, and you feel like, oh, okay, well, the Grizzlies got this. Like, they got the momentum back in the series. Like, they're going to be fine, and they end up losing a Game 7 at home. It's just, it really is true. Like, anything, it's kind of anything goes in a Game 7.
If somebody asked me this last night, we get to that Game 7, which fan base is going to be more disappointed if their team loses?
I would think the Pacers, because I think...
I thought the Thunder.
No,
my
because
initial reaction was the Thunder.
I think if you're a Thunder fan, you can easily talk yourself into, we will be back.
We'll
be the 1 seed again next year.
But that's the thing. You're like, we were the 1 seed last year. We screwed it up. We were the 1 seed this year, won 68 games. We had one of the greatest teams of all time. We screwed it up.
But we can retool. We were the number 1 seed going away in the hardest Western, or in the conference that's harder, right?
Yeah.
The West. And we won it going away. I think that you can convince yourself as a Thunder fan, we will be back. It's no problem. If you're a Pacers fan, I think you look at it more as, this is our chance, and this could be our only chance.
But also, if you're a Pacers fan, you're like, hey, look,
like the
Celtics
East is,
had the injuries,
right.
All this stuff happens.
And the East is going to be easier next year, especially with Tatum out, but the Pacers came out of nowhere. Now, I know they were there last year, but they still kind of came out of nowhere. That, like, the second half of the season, they just caught fire, and in the playoffs, they just obviously they got some injury luck on the other side, but still they kind of ran through it.
If you're a Pacer fan,
here,
do you think, it's not clearly not the embarrassment of riches that the Thunder have, but you're like, look, we're set up well for the future also. Like, we could be back here. We figured this out. It seems like the Pacers unlocked. I mean, the Pacers went to the conference finals last year and lost.
It's true.
They've been there 2 years in a row too.
It's funny, like, as we're talking through it, I think the easier path is for them to get back. But I think if you're a Thunder fan, you would feel more confident about getting back.
But I would also, like, the Thunder fans, like, we see them on social media, we interact with them. Feels like they've been taking a victory lap all season. Like, we were running away with this thing and blowing everyone out.
Yeah.
Biggest margin of victory, all this stuff. Like, if they lose, like, if I'm a Thunder fan, I got to be pretty distraught. I know a couple of Thunder fans who last night were like, well, that sucked. Like, not even was it did we lose, but it wasn't even competitive. Like, it wasn't a great game at all. So I think if you're
I mean, imagine how you're going to feel if you're a fan in that building and the Pacers go up like 10-2. Like all of a sudden you're just like,
I mean,
oh
you saw
boy.
it in game 5 when it was Thunder were up, had it in hand, and the Pacers made that run and cut it to 2 with like 8 minutes to go, and Richard Jefferson's like, do you feel the anxiety in this building right now? Like, yeah, you'll totally feel it. How about this stat? I saw this one too. The last time we had a Game 7 in the NBA Finals was 2016. The Cavaliers and the Warriors, and the road team won the last time we had a Game 7 in the NBA Finals.
How about that?
There's been something like 19 Game 7s.
That was the last Game 7, huh?
There's been something like 19 Game 7s all time, and 4 of them the road teams have won. But the most recent one was that Warriors-Cavs Game 7 when the Cavs made the big comeback.
So a few of my favorite moments from last night. Number one was
the dunk.
Well, and Pascal Siakam like summoning demons, and then it actually coming to fruition during the game.
He looked like he was in
what's going on there? Yeah, what's going on right there?
The weird part is the whole clip of
I want to hear an explanation.
Well, on the clip, if you watch it, like everyone's heads are bowed.
I know.
And then his head like rises out of it like something out of 28 Days Later or Sinners or something. Like he just has like this crazy look on his face.
And then look what happened. Like he clearly summoned something, like because we got this amazing moment in the game. If we got the video, Kyra, of him dunking on Jalen Williams, which was unbelievable.
I think we have to give Jalen Williams a shout out in that play because he could have made a business decision. He could have stopped. He didn't have to run up there and try to make the block. I mean, he turned it over. So I guess like he's thinking, all right, I got to make up for it. He hustles back.
Oh, good save.
But then like right after this unnecessary spin pass, right here, Jalen Williams sees.
This is when you got to bail. You got to bail right here.
Run past him. Just run out of bounds. Oh man, look at the way he lands too. Oh, it's like he's breakdancing.
Pascal summoned something last night. I don't know. Yeah, that was pretty amazing. Also, I think it was in the third quarter. The other play that's just getting you've seen the video of them when they get Halliburton gets the steal and the ball touches like 4 guys' hands and no dribbles, and then you get the 3 in the corner. That was pretty incredible. Like
Ben Shepherd had a crazy 3 at the end of the quarter. Yeah,
there was some cool moments. I think also James Johnson getting ejected.
Yeah, that was amazing. That was classic James Johnson, right? Like, so I think CJ pointed out James Johnson has played 64 minutes all season. Mm-hmm. He gets in the game, it's a blowout. You know, what's he going to do? That like you. Some players get in, like Yuki would get in the game at the end of the game. You want him to make a cool pass. Other guys get in that don't play. You want to see them get a dunk, get a bucket. James Johnson, you want to see him get thrown out. Like that's what you pay to see with the Pacers. Yeah. And hey, he did his job. He came in and got tossed at the end. TJ McConnell was awesome again for the Pacers. I've said it all along. Like, I think they need one of those bench guys to have a really big game for them to have a shot at winning games on any given night. And Halliburton was, he'd had that terrible game 5. He was better last night. 23 minutes, 14 points, 5 assists.
Well, that's the thing that, and why I would be nervous if I was a Thunder fan is I think we all expected him to not. And listen, he did not have a great game. Yeah. But they played a great team game last night. The Pacers did.
He didn't look like he had a calf injury, did he?
That's the thing is I think me and a lot of people just expected him to play and then probably not look like himself and probably maybe not even play the whole game, right?
ESPN helped with this because Shams was on one of those things saying he could barely walk.
That's the thing is it seemed like one of those things where, okay, if this was the regular season, if this was even earlier in the playoffs, there's 0 chance he plays. And so he's going to play because it's the finals. Like, what have you got to lose? And it's just a bad look if you don't play. Like it's a lose-lose for him. So you go out there, you suit up, and you see what it looks like. And if he can't move up and down the floor, then it's similar to like Aaron Gordon earlier in the playoffs, right?
But Gordon could clearly barely move.
And that's what I expected to see last night. Yeah. Halliburton looked like you saw the steals, you saw him getting up and down the floor. He looked good.
Does it also make you question, like now when we hear NBA players like, oh, they have to sit out tonight with a calf strain. All right, they could probably play.
Oh yeah, it's not. What Tyrese Halliburton did last night is definitely not good for like load management next season, because everyone's gonna be like, dude, did you see Tyrese Halliburton in the finals?
He
Like, come on.
good. Yeah.
That's.
I don't know. But yeah, Obi Toppin had 20 points off the bench last night for the Pacers. They're gonna need one guy to have a game like that in Game 7 to win it, and the Thunder are gonna have to make those shots basically. Shea's gonna have to get the free throw line. I also tweeted last night as the game was ending, you know, that like Scott Foster and James Capers are getting ready for Game 7.
Oh,
right?
I can't wait to see. Well, but
it's going to be Scott Foster. It's going to be James Capers, and who's the third is the question.
But that's the thing, is Scott Foster the extender? Like, I don't, it's Game 7, dude. This is it. We're at the end of the line.
Zach Zarba, but he was last night. I would have thought Tony Brothers. He was last night, so they're not going to run those guys out there again for Game 7. So you might get like a Goebel or a Gucci referee in, for your third ref. But they're going to have to the NBA is going to bring out the heavy hitters for that Game 7. And we'll see like how the game gets called. That has a big part of it too. You remember Rick Carlisle got that technical early in Game 5 in OKC when they weren't getting the calls, and they never really changed that around. So we'll see if they send SGFTA to the free throw line, or if the Thunder are able to get going like that. And how about Jalen Williams, that Game 5, he went from 40 points to a minus 40 plus minus. Last night, Jalen Williams played 27 minutes and had a minus 40 plus minus. I think if the Pacers win this thing, as good as Halliburton's been and everything, like Siakam has been their best player to me. Probably most consistent
if they win
player.
the series, he'll be Finals MVP if they win the series.
Right?
Yeah, I think so. I think if they win the series, he'll get that Finals MVP.
He finished with 16 and 13 last night. And he makes, like, every once in a while, he'll just pop up and get a block shot or, do some defensive play. He does, like, Siakam, and probably more than anybody, though, Siakam scares me when he has the ball in his hands trying to create, because he's probably going to throw it away.
Yeah.
He'll give you some turnovers if you can force him into, sort of like Caruso. Caruso is such a good player as long as he shoots threes and plays defense. But if you can get him to put the ball on the floor and make a decision, that's where he kind of gets in trouble.
I think if they do end up winning the championship, the Pacers, I think we'll look at that Siakam, because how long has he been there now? 2 seasons?
Maybe 3.
Maybe 3 now.
A few, yeah.
I think we'll look back on that as one of the more underrated moves made in the Eastern Conference over the past couple of years. Like, nobody really cared.
Yeah.
I mean, he had won a championship in Toronto, but and he's a great player, but it's the Pacers who don't get talked about a lot. And he's been their best player pretty much this whole, like, Halliburton's had the moments. Siakam's been their best player throughout the playoffs, right?
Yes.
So it's, that was a really, really good move for them, a couple years back.
In retrospect, yeah. And they extended him, I think, before the season. Yeah, like keeping him there. Have we just not been noticing the Pacers? Not been talking about? I mean, they went to the conference finals a year ago. They win it this year. Like, they've been a really good team for a couple years.
Yeah, I think that it's just, I mean, dude, they're just one of those teams that just doesn't get talked about because it's
like the Grizzlies.
Yeah, I mean, it's and we obviously we're more polarizing now in the Ja Morant era, but I just think the Pacers are just one of those teams that never really gets. I mean, dude, they've been a perennial playoff team forever, it feels like, right? We never put them in the conversation of a contender ever. Like, even back to the Paul George days, like it's
even
just
back to like the Reggie Miller days.
Even back to Reggie Miller, it's just like they've never been one of those teams that you've discussed as an Eastern Conference contender. I think it's just kind of is what it is.
I mean, they've also always kind of been around when other better players were like. Those Reggie Miller Pacers, like, they're great. But guess what? Michael Jordan's on the Bulls.
Right.
And then, like, Paul George is good on these Pacers teams. Guess what? LeBron's on the Cavs.
Yep.
Yeah. And now you're like, oh, look, they have Tyrese Halliburton. Well, Jason Tatum's on the Celtics or Jaylen Brown. Like, they've always sort of just been below that superstar guy.
Yeah.
But now they're sort of like, we're in this era in the NBA of where you need 10 guys, you need 11, you need depth to be good, and they fit right into that.
Yep.
They look really good the way they've been playing.
Last thing before we get to Mike Wallace, Matt Moore tweeted this last night. The Thunder, they have lost 2 games in a row twice this season. Once in April when they had wrapped the 1 seed up and they were just coasting and resting guys. The other game was on November 19th. So that's...
They also, the Pacers took 18 more shots than the Thunder did last night. And I think that's somebody talked about possessions. I saw on Twitter last night, and they were saying that's the Thunder's big thing is they kind of go out on possessions. You got to have more possessions than your opponent. And the Pacers took that away from them last night. I'm really excited about this Game 7.
I'm fired up,
I have no
dude.
idea what to expect.
Sunday Game 7, like let's go.
Yeah.
We know I'm sure it's a 7 o'clock tip.
It's got to be 7 or 8. I mean, it's got to be 7 or 7:30 our time. Yeah. So that'll make for a great
Sunday night.
TV
for
Sunday
sure, man.
night. Pacers and the Thunder. Somebody else in the chat pointed out Thunder lose. Gary once again not here.
Yeah, that's
you know who else lost last night?
It's interesting. Who?
New York Mets.
They've lost 6 in a row.
3 of those were to the Atlanta Braves.
Someone's got to answer for things on Monday. Yeah. Someone's got some stuff to answer.
But you're not going to be here Monday.
I will not be here. So yeah,
no one's going to be here to hold Gary's feet to the fire.
I've been saying this all week, and then Monday, if the Thunder are the champions, I'm not here to answer for
maybe
the Pacers. Yeah,
I don't know. If the Pacers win, maybe I'll come in and like leave Gary a present or something.
Yeah, that's good.
Flowers. I don't know.
Let's do that.
All right.
I like it.
Let's take a break. Michael Wallace, our Grind City Media teammate, is going to join us on the other side of this break. You're watching the Gary Parrish Show here on Grind City Media.
You get to the main event, and you hear the crowd. There's some rumblings in the crowd.
Here we go.
They say, "We want truth."
I love how John Cena said when they were chanting, "We want truth." You can't handle the truth.
There you go.
I loved it.
He takes the knee off, boom. Takes the mask off, boom. And it's our freaking truth. God, man, he cost John Cena the match.
Tune in to Grind City Wrestling weekly on the Grind City Media app and on the Grind City Media YouTube channel.
Are you ready? Creed. By overwhelming demand, the Summer of '99 tour returns. July 27th, FedEx Forum. With very special guest, Daughtry. And Mammoth. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com. Don't miss Creed with Daughtry and Mammoth. The Summer of '99 tour.
The First Ladies of FedEx Forum, the Grizz Girls, are known across the NBA for setting the standard for professional dance and entertainment, and they are looking for dancers to join their team for the 2025-2026 season. With the chance to gain professional dance experience and connect with the Memphis community, auditioning for the Grizz Girls is an opportunity you do not want to miss. Come show up at Open Call Auditions Saturday, July 26th at the Memphis Sports and Events Center. Visit grizzlies.com/auditions now for more information.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans, want exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you during the Grizzlies 2024-2025 season? Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item. Whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
Welcome back to the Gary Parrish Show here on Grind City Media. I'm Lang Whitaker, sitting in all week for GP alongside Bennett Doyle and Kyra. And joining us now, our Grind City Media teammate, the point guard, as Jarvis Hayes likes, Jarvis Greer calls him, Mike Wallace. What's up, Michael? How are you?
Hey, what's going on? What's going on, Lang? I appreciate it. Jarvis Hayes, man, that's a blast from the past too. They both legendary in their own right.
Shout out Jarvis and his twin brother Jonas Hayes. Do you remember the both of them, the NBA players? Jarvis always says Mike's the point guard of Grand City. One question we just came up with, Mike. We were talking about last night's finals and setting up this amazing Game 7 on Sunday. Which team's fan base do you think would be more disappointed with a loss in Game 7?
Oklahoma City, no question about it, just because, this was supposed to be a coronation for Oklahoma City. They felt like, okay, we dominated the West. You look back at their regular season record against the East, they were 29-1. And once they got past Denver, I think that was the initial scare, was that, okay, Minnesota didn't really stretch them in much at all from a fan base perspective. And then when they got to the finals, Oklahoma City was such an overwhelming historic favorite that you just thought it was going to be a party, like it's a matter of days before we have this parade. They got the parade route already set. When we were there for the first round against the Oklahoma City and Grizzlies series, you saw the park right across the street from the arena where Oklahoma City holds all of its pregame and postgame parties and everything. So you knew that was going to be the parade route. I think if they lose, especially being on their home court, that would be a demoralizing blow. I think Indiana essentially won its de facto championship by forcing a Game 7 yesterday for their fan base. And that fan base could say we did everything we could to get this team to the ultimate game. And kudos to Indiana for doing that.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you, Mike. Bennett said he felt like if you're the Pacers, you're kind of like, oh wow, like look where we are. Like everything kind of went our way. We had the injuries to other teams. We managed to get to the finals. To even get to the NBA Finals, and if you win the NBA Finals, it's sort of just like a cherry on top of an amazing run for this Pacer team. But I feel like I kind of agree with you, Mike. The Thunder fans, it feels like they've been on a victory lap all season long. They've kind of felt like this is theirs. This is they've blown everyone out all season, looked unbeatable, won 68 games, and then you're like, oh well, maybe this is their team, but. This is their year, but if they lose, I feel like the Thunder fans will probably take it harder. Do you think the Pacers have a chance to win this, or is this like another Thunder home blowout?
Come on, man! Like, what have we learned about the Pacers all throughout this run? Is that yes, they have a chance. I think they've neutralized this. If any game in the finals should be a toss-up, this should be the one. I think not only did they had the most dominant performance in the finals so far between these two games, with how they played Game 6. Neither team dominated the other as thoroughly as Indiana dominated Oklahoma City last night in Game 6. And that they did that with Tyrese Halliburton, obviously, at somewhere around 50% effective. They got a lot of good play from their role players and balance. And they didn't have to change who they were in order to get that win.
Yeah.
It seemed Oklahoma City just didn't show up. I think this is a toss-up. Now, home court advantage tends to make you believe that it should go the Thunder's way. You don't see the Thunder look horrible back-to-back games. And if, my gut tells me Oklahoma City's going to win, but I had this series going 7 from the very beginning. Really? I felt like, that was the way that I picked it from the jump on all of our shows. I said it was going to go 7, much more because I wanted it to. But I also believe Indiana, had some things that can counter what Oklahoma City does. And I think right now it's going to be a remarkable Game 7 one way or another. I think Oklahoma City's going to win it, but I would not be shocked if Indiana pulls out the stunner because they've already done it by pushing it to a Game 7. Yeah,
I think if you're a Thunder fan, that's the scary part is you've seen them win a game in OKC. You've seen them come from behind. Even that Game 5, they cut it to 2 points in the fourth quarter there, and you think, oh wow. So the Pacers clearly are not afraid. They're not scared of the moment. They're not afraid of being behind. They know they can come from behind and compete in these games. The two stats I saw that jumped out at me, one of them was at the last time we had a Game 7, the road team won in 2016. But then in games this season, games in the finals, when Shea has shot under 10 free throws, the Thunder are 0-3. In games where he shot more than 10 free throws, they're 3-0. So I think a lot of that, not to look too much at the referees, but I think a lot of that is if you're watching the Thunder, is Shea driving? Is he getting into the paint? Is he able to create contact? Are they calling it? And is he getting to the free throw line? And then like the other guys, like we saw last night, nobody on the Thunder could make a three-pointer, especially Lou Dort, Caruso, those guys who've been so good for them. And for the Pacers, to me, like if they're going to win, one of those other dudes has got to step up in that Game 7.
Yeah, no question about it. I mean, to your first point, I know you affectionately refer to him as SGFTA.
Yes.
The penchant to get to the free throw line in most other situations.
Free throw merchant.
Yeah. Oklahoma City, the Indiana Pacers have done a decent job of two things. Number one, not letting SGA dominate from the free throw line, but also number two, minimizing and mitigating their turnovers. I mean, it was just remarkable that they don't turn the ball over anymore against this team the way that they did in the first half of game one, where they had 17, 19 turnovers in the first half of game one, and still ended up finding a way to win. So that's the thing. Oklahoma City can't win if they're not playing balanced and dominant ball.
Yeah.
Indiana can win even if they're not on their game. And that's the scary thing that should be in a game 7, because it's going to be herky-jerky. It's not going to be much of a flow. And all the pressure, as Tyrese Halliburton said, shifts back to Oklahoma City at this point. But yes, I think Indiana is capable because, again, nobody on their team is doing anything above and beyond what they're asked to do. Whether it's TJ McConnell, whether it's Nembhard, whether it's Neesmith, whether it's Ben Shepherd coming off the bench providing defense and hitting a shot every now and then, whether it's Miles Turner being able to neutralize, the front line of the Pacers of the Oklahoma City. They're getting to their game, and they're not, you're not rushing them when you're not slowing them down. So I love the matchup. I love what this is going to be. And for all that talk about, this was going to be a ratings disaster. All right, if you're not watching this finals, so what? You're not a basketball, lover the way most people who are enjoying this finals are. It's not about that. It's about two quality organizations who built their rosters the right way, who have stable leadership in the front office, and who have solidified stars who know their roles and role players who know how to support their stars. And it's a phenomenal series. The
last thing on this series, you mentioned it there, and I was watching this series and thinking about this. I wonder if the Pacers get a benefit by going up against Shea 6 games in a row, because he plays such an unorthodox style of play, getting to the line, doing those moves that you're not used to seeing guys, the offensive player kind of being the aggressor on a lot of those different plays. And now, Nembhard, Neesmith, these guys have gone after him 6 games in a row, and you kind of know the moves. You kind of know where he's going to do that spin move. He's trying to get to the mid-range like nobody else in the NBA does. And I wonder if how much of the Pacers' success is just repetition against the same team for 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, I mean, that's just it. You're not going to beat Oklahoma City if you got one shot at them, because it takes a while. It's like trying to defend the wishbone or the option, right? You don't see that every single week, so you have to change up everything you're doing in a short time. But as you get 2 weeks into a series and everyone knows the moves that each other's making, that you got to credit Rick Carlisle for being a phenomenal coach. I mean, they chased down SGA in that game last night and had a second defender coming at him every time he turned his back. Yep. They know when he's going to spin back into the baseline or back into the free throw line, and they have a second defender there, whether it's TJ McConnell, someone else hounding him. Phenomenal job on that part, man. And again, it's been a wonderful chess match. But I do expect guys in game 7 on Sunday, I expect guys like, my guy Aaron Wiggins to come back and hit some big shots. Yeah. Some Wallace, the role players. Dort is going to have a good game.
Isaiah Joe.
Those guys are going to be the guys that step. Caruso is going to be, a maniac out there. Yeah. And those guys that are going to be the difference in game 7 that just barely puts Oklahoma City over the top.
If I had to pick a coach, though, to coach against OKC at home in this game 7, Carlisle might be one of my top 2 or 3 choices of all the current coaches in the NBA. So I think it sets up well. You mentioned that these are 2 teams that have built their rosters the right way. We haven't talked to you since the Desmond Bane trade. And for the Grizzlies, they made this trade on Sunday, kind of catches all of us off guard by surprise. And it's really, I think, for the Grizzlies – about responsibility financially and trying to figure out a way to fit contracts and players under the salary cap. But it's also for the Grizzlies trying to build this roster in a way that's probably more competitive going forward. What was your take on the whole trade with Desmond Bane and the Orlando Magic?
When I first heard about it, we were all early in our Father's Day, festivities or whatever we were doing, including Desmond Bane, who was on the beach in Destin, as we found out when he got FaceTimed by Zach Kleiman and was told that he was being traded. My first reaction, man, was this. It was, wow. This is a testament to Desmond Bane developing himself into a player that warrants that kind of trade. Yeah. And this is a great move by Zach Kleiman in the front office to be able to get a team to fork over 4 first-round picks, 2 players who are rotation-type players, and some pick swaps. Desmond Bane was taken at the 30th overall pick in the first round. He got back 4+ times his value. No matter where those first-round picks fall, they're not going to fall below 30, right? Because there's only 30 teams. right? So unless there's expansion and then they become, whatever. But the bottom line is that he got 4 times the amount of what, he was himself. They got 4 times the amount of who he was. And the return on that investment is phenomenal for the Grizzlies, first and foremost. That's what that trade means, whether KCP or, Cole Anthony, play a possession for the Grizzlies. Just the fact that you got the assets in the draft says everything to me. And that pick next year is going to be even more valuable than the pick this year in terms of the pick swap between the Suns and the Wizards, and you get the better of those two. So having said that, that's one thing. Now, in terms of the basketball, no, the Grizzlies didn't get better tomorrow based on this trade than they were yesterday. Desmond Bane is a productive player. He's one of the more reliable players that they've had on this team in the last few years. And, again, I think this is a step sideways, if not a step back, in hopes that you could take 2 steps forward. So this was a precursor. This was the prequel to what has to happen to make this move make even more sense if you're going to make this team better next year. So you attach one of those assets to another player and you get back something else that helps you in the more immediate future. I think that trade only gets better and better. It's going to be a trade that ages well with time, like fine wine.
Yeah, well, people think you and I we're insiders here. We don't know anything more than anybody else does because we don't know in advance what's happening. Right. That being said, like you said, probably seems like you have all these assets now. You can attach them to things. You can build a better offer than you might have been able to build previously for something else. Grizzlies have some holes now they got to fill. They need shooting. Zach Edey had the surgery in the offseason. They got to find someone to play the big. Like, what do you think if you're the Grizzlies? What do you go after first as a way to address some of the needs this roster has?
I think you know what, the big rotation to me is always going to be the priority because I think if you have the right big in there, a screen setter, a great rebounder, then you take care, especially if Ja's healthy and he's to be someone that can finally play more than 50 games a season. Yep. If you're saying that this is what, and again, this trade, what everything the Grizzlies is doing right now is clearly a referendum on Ja Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr. Yep. They have to be the players that can propel this team to a Western Conference Finals. I'm not saying you got to beat Oklahoma City or be neck and neck with them, but you got to be the other team on the other side. If Minnesota can do that, you can do that. You know what I mean? And that's what the Grizzlies have to be. So what I'm saying is that as you address what's needed, you need to be able to first start with a person that's going to give you what Jaren Jackson Jr. cannot and what Ja Morant is going to need first and foremost. An enforcer inside, a tough rebounder, and a screen setter to unlock everybody else. So that's what it starts with. Edey was building towards that. But even if he was healthy, you still needed another person, another big down there that can do that. And secondly, you're going to need that wing scorer. You're going to need that shooter because Kennard is probably not coming back. Desmond Bane is already out. And you don't have any wing other than a second-year player that's going to be Jalen Wells coming back from a season-ending injury. And you're going to ask him to be your best perimeter defender and your best shooter. That's going to be hard to do. Yeah. So you're going to need help in those two areas. One is 1, the other is 1A, and you can interchange them based on the best available on the board or best available in free agency or trades.
Last thing, Mike, we know summer league's coming up, drafts coming up, all the typical things of an NBA summer. And one of the things with the draft, you and I just recorded a podcast for Grind City Media's draft board breakdown. The Grizzlies have that 16th pick in the first round. Also have a couple of second-round picks. But in that first round, we came up with a couple names that could be interesting for the Grizzlies to consider. You want to run down a couple of those guys that you thought might be on the Grizzlies' radar maybe?
Yeah, I mean, well, we started with Jace Richardson, the freshman out of Michigan State, and he's undersized, right? You wish he was 6'4", 6'5", he would be a no-brainer. But if he was 6'4", 6'5", he'd probably be a top 5 pick based on the upside that he has. But he definitely gives you a shooter and a guy that can handle the ball as a secondary playmaker. And he's interchangeable. He could play either backcourt spot. So that might be a luxury if you bring back Scottie Pippen and you also have Cole Anthony. You also have some other guys, man, in there. Carter Bryant, the big wing out of Arizona. He's another intriguing 19-year-old guy. How young do you want to go? Is this a developmental slot that you're talking about? Or is this somebody that you need to plug and play right away? And if you're going to plug in right away, Nick Clifford is a guy from Colorado State that can get right there into the mix right off the bat. And then Maxime Renaud, the big man out of Stanford, was the other guy that I can also give him some stretchability, pick and pop, screen setter, that kind of thing too. So it depends on which way they want to go, who's best available. You can go backcourt, wing, or big. Those are 3 different options right there that you got.
And you're going up to Brooklyn, right?
Yes, I'll be at the draft for the first round of the draft, man, talking to whoever the Grizzlies pick, whether it's 15 or higher or whatever they do. We'll bring it right to you on the draft show that you're going to be a part of as well, too, back in the studio.
I get to be Mel Kiper on Wednesday night. Bennett will be there, and we're going to break down everyone who gets picked.
Kiper. So.
I got to work on that Baltimore accent. I don't have the Baltimore accent. I'll get it down, though.
There you go.
All right. Thank you, Michael Wallace. We appreciate you. And we're going to take a break. We're going to come back. We got 5 things heading into the weekend. You're watching the Gary Parrish Show here on Grind City Media.
It's time for our Pick 6, Mike. 6 classics that we're most looking forward to in the 2025 football season.
Las Vegas, obviously, that's the Grambling State University, Jackson State University clash. They're taking 2 iconic HBCU brands going to an NFL stadium in Las Vegas.
Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
Have you always dreamed of entertaining on the biggest stage in Memphis? The Claw Crew is looking for members to join their team for the 2025-2026 season. Claw Crew members are hardworking, high-energy entertainers who assist Grizzlies home games by hyping up the crowd and much more. Not only do they support the Grizzlies at home games, but also promote in Memphis and across the Mid-South. Open auditions are Saturday, August 9th at FedEx Forum. Visit grizzlies.com/auditions for more information and to register today. The Grizzlies, grannies, and grandpas have the right moves and are currently looking for new members to join their team for the upcoming season. These soulful seniors are a fan favorite group throughout Grizz Nation. You do not have to be a grandparent, but you must be at least 50 years old with personality, rhythm, and passion for performing. If that sounds like you, then we want to see you on Sunday, June 29th. Visit grizzlies.com/auditions for more information.
1, 2, 3. Ready, go.
Dance Kid Dance Tour. Live in Memphis. FedEx Forum, Saturday, August 30th. With special guests, Bush and Morgan Wade. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Shinedown, live in concert. For more, visit shinedown.com.
Orthopedic injuries can be unpredictable, unforeseen, and unscheduled, and Ortho South understands this better than anyone. Since injuries don't make appointments, you don't need to either. Ortho South, they welcome walk-ins during the weekdays, on evenings, and even on Saturdays. So the next time an unforeseen injury makes an unscheduled appearance in your life, visit orthosouth.org to find your nearest urgent care location. You can just walk in, and Ortho South, they will take care of everything, especially you. Learn more at orthosouth.org. That's OrthoSouth at orthosouth.org.
Welcome back to the Gary Parrish Show. It's Friday. Lane Whitaker sitting in here all week with Ben and Doyle. And it's time to get into 5 things to get you out of here.
Number 1.
Number 1, hey, the Lakers got sold for $10 billion. I said that to my son this morning. My son said, oh, they got sold. How much? I said $10 billion. My wife turned around and goes, is that true? And I was like, what do you mean? And she goes, it sounds like a number out of Austin Powers or something,
yeah.
you know,
$10
like
billion. Yeah, they're the first. They got to be the first ever franchise to
I think
billion-dollar franchise with a billion-dollar athlete.
Yeah, I think it's the highest of all time, the highest franchise.
Yeah,
ever.
it's got to be.
Celtics had just gone for 6-something a couple months ago, and now you see teams getting flipped left and right. I mean, $10 billion is real.
Could you imagine if Jerry ever sold the Cowboys? What would that sell for? Higher or lower than the Lakers?
Well, I would guess. Here's the thing: the Lakers, I believe, do not own the arena they play in. And the Cowboys, I think they own AT&T Stadium also, don't they?
I believe you're right.
Yeah. So, what was the last football team that sold?
God, good question. The last
NFL
football
sold. Wasn't the Bills sold recently?
I'm not sure. Oh, well,
the Commanders, Washington Commanders.
Yeah, that's probably it. It's probably the Washington Commanders, right?
Let's see what their price
Snyder,
was.
yeah.
Sale price, $6.5 billion.
Okay.
6.05.
Yeah, so I think the Cowboys would probably
12.
Yeah, I think it'd be higher than the Lakers. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. The Buss family, Jerry Buss has owned the Lakers forever. I saw somewhere he bought them for like $80 million, something like that. Like, a long time ago he bought them. And he wasn't like one of those guys who's like a tech billionaire or something. He played poker. He's a businessman, did a lot of different things, but then ended up making a lot of that money in real estate, I think, in LA when they had the big boom in LA. And then the family has tried to manage it, but I think as all these other teams have kind of blown up in their values, the Lakers have tried to figure out how to maximize that. I think Jeannie Buss still kept, the family kept like 15%, something like that.
Yeah, and she is going to continue her role as governor after the sale, at least for the time being. So they sold the majority of the ownership to Mark Walter, CEO and chairman of diversified holding company TWG Global.
That sounds like something fake, doesn't it?
Is he also the owner of the Dodgers?
Yes, the company is, I believe.
Golly, man.
Doesn't that sound like a fake company?
TWG
Diversified
Global.
Holding, TWG
right.
Global. It's like where Kramer would work on Seinfeld.
Right.
Yeah. Doesn't sound like a real thing.
So I saw two trains of thoughts on this from multiple people. Like Brian Windhorst went on with SVP after this and said this is a huge deal, and that if you are another franchise in the league, you should be worried about this because the Lakers haven't been the biggest.
They've been underfunded.
They've been underfunded, not the biggest spenders, and now they're going to get all these new resources, and they're going to be able to spend, and it's going to be crazy for the rest of the league. Now, our friend Matt Moore said the complete opposite, and I tend to agree with what he said. Dude, okay, if the Lakers have been underfunded and not spending all, they still got LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Luka. Like, it didn't matter at all. Like, what? I don't understand. I think the Lakers are still going to get the biggest free agents no matter what.
Well, looking at what the Dodgers have done, right, the last couple of years, and just spending money left and right, deferring money, getting Shohei, like, signing the guy from Japan this year, like just going out and spending all this money on all these players. The thing that keeps the Dodgers basically operate as if money ain't a thing, right? Shout out Jermaine Dupri. But look at the way the Lakers and the way NBA teams operate. Everybody's terrified of this second apron now, right? Because the penalties are just so huge, the financial penalty. Nobody wants to pay these penalties. Does Diversified Holdings, TWA Global, Worldwide Prestige, do they care about paying? I mean, maybe they don't. Maybe they're like, you know what? Next 5 years, just go out there and spend all the money you want.
Sure. I mean, there's still a salary cap. Like,
sort of.
Yeah.
The penalty for going over the cap is you have to pay, right? So
yeah, but I don't know.
I mean, doesn't baseball technically have a salary cap also?
Sure. And that's...
I don't know. I'm just like, that's my thing is like maybe this company that bought the Lakers, Prestige Worldwide, maybe they're going to be willing to be different than everybody else, to not be scared of all these numbers and the aprons and all that.
I just feel like that the NBA is way more conscious of those kind of things. I mean, remember once upon a time, the league prevented, and this was a different commissioner, but they prevented Chris Paul from going to the Lakers, right?
Yeah.
Like that, because it was just unfair, right?
Yeah.
It just felt too lopsided, and the league said, no, we're not allowing this. So I don't know how much. I tend to lean more on the Matt Moore side of. I don't know how much this really matters in the grand scheme of the league.
I don't think the league cares.
Lakers are gonna get awesome players because everyone wants to play for the Lakers, and so they'll be competitive. But I'm not sure that this means that they're going to run the league for the next decade.
If the league cared
right?
that much about the Lakers anymore and being unfair, do you think they would have let Luka go there?
That's true too. No,
that's out the window, man. Like that's over. If you want to spend the money, though, you can spend the money. I mean, because that goes to the other teams, right? It goes to like the general fund. So, but anyway, Lakers have been sold for $10 billion.
Number two,
NBA drafts coming up Wednesday night. Grizzlies have that 16th pick in the first round. We'll be live. Benny will be here. I'll be here. All of us are all the GCM people be doing a live show from the big studio over there to watch it and figure out what's going on as it goes on. Some news happens in the draft this week. You know, going into the draft, everyone had Cooper Flagg, the number one pick. He apparently worked out for the Dallas Mavericks yesterday, and people said it was one of the greatest workouts they've ever seen.
Right.
Yeah, they were like, he didn't miss a shot. He was unbelievable and kind of like just secured everything everyone has said about him heading into this draft process. But then the number 2 and 3 picks, for the most part, the last couple of months has been Dylan Harper, number 2, and his Rutgers teammate Ace Bailey as the 3rd pick.
What is going on there?
I don't know.
You saw he canceled his workout with the Sixers yesterday.
Who have the 3rd pick.
He hasn't worked out with anybody, correct?
Correct. And now there's the Jonathan Givony and Jeremy Wu of ESPN had a new mock draft yesterday where they said he could end up going 6th or 7th. He's sliding down, possibly looking to be in a better team where he can play a bigger role. There's also Jeff Goodman had a report that his agent has refused to do interviews unless he's being paid for them, on-camera interviews.
The Ace Bailey?
Ace Bailey's agent, who is the
Saying
father.
Ace Bailey won't do interviews.
No, the agent won't.
The agent won't do interviews.
And the agent is the father of Sharif Cooper, the former Auburn.
Oh wow,
player.
Interesting.
Because when I heard about him slipping in the draft and like all this stuff, I was like, I wonder who his agent is. And I Googled, because, you know, like there's guys who've been NBA agents for a long time and everyone kind of handles the process the same way. And you figure out where things, you know. I was like, I wonder who his agent is. I know a bunch of those guys too. And it said Omar Cooper. And I'm like, who? Like I didn't know who it was.
So like, I can understand, you know, if you're worried about, if the thought process is you're worried about going to a bad situation, and so maybe you're like, if you're doing conspiracy theory stuff, and maybe you're tanking your stock a little bit so you don't go to, because what are our top 3?
I'm looking right now. So it's the top 3 is
we know
Dallas,
Flagg's going to Dallas,
San Antonio, Dylan Harper, which seems, unless they trade the pick.
Seems likely, yeah.
But I think Dylan Harper is number 2 no matter what.
Who's 3?
The Sixers.
Right, and see that's the thing is it'd be if 3 was like the Charlotte Hornets, then maybe I could understand you tanking your stock a little bit because the
Hornets are number 4.
Yeah, okay. So, but not working out with the Sixers, like in theory, that could be a really good situation for you as a rookie, right?
I mean,
like,
I guess the thought is that you go there, like you're not going to get a lot of shots. I mean, you're going to be behind Embiid and Tyrese Maxey, and you know. My thought would be, and Paul George, I mean, you're going to be like, I guess your thought is, well, I want to go, I mean, I would guess his thought seems to be like, I want to go somewhere where I can take 20 shots a game, where I can be the man.
Okay.
Which, in that case, the Utah Jazz draft number 5 and the Washington Wizards draft number 6. And maybe you think I can make it to one of those places. Also, the Pelicans are 7th and the Brooklyn Nets are 8th. Maybe he thinks I can slide down to that 4 through 8.
I would love to know the thought process behind why they're not.
Well,
doing any of these workouts.
somebody on social media was saying maybe he got a promise from one of these teams down there. The other thing is though, like the salaries are slotted. Like further down you go, the less money you're making.
That's right.
In the short term, maybe long term, it's a play, right? Like I build up my value. I get a shoe deal. I get some commercials. I in 6 years I'll sign as a free agent with the Lakers and prestige worldwide. So one of these, maybe it's a long-term thing that he's thinking, but he's also not talking about any of this, so nobody really knows what's going on. Usually though, when something like this happens and a guy's canceling meetings and allegedly and not working out for teams, like you would hear from somebody connected to him, but I haven't heard anything. So I think maybe they're just like being closed mouth. Maybe they have a deal in place with somebody.
Interesting. I'm fired up, dude. I cannot wait for the draft now. Like, it's so wild how this trade changed kind of everything from a Grizzlies perspective. I just I just didn't really care that much. I mean, my hope was that they were going to, maybe try to find a way to maneuver themselves in the first round or something like that. But now that we all of a sudden are slotted at 16 and all these options with all the assets that they gained in the Bane trade, like I think there's potential for some fireworks on draft night. I can't wait.
The ESPN's mock draft has now the Sixers at 3 taking VJ Edgecombe out of Baylor. And if you watch the highlights of all the different guys, because we had all the highlights.
I love him.
His highlights are unbelievable.
Yeah,
like, he's like 6'5", can jump through the roof. Great defensive player. Feels like a kind of guy who on that Sixers team, he doesn't need to have the ball in his hands all the time. It could be very successful as sort of a fill-in guy for them. The other thing that was interesting is they had the Hornets at number 4, passing on Ace Bailey and taking Con Knipple out of Duke, which, I mean, I guess he slots in between LaMelo Ball and Brandon Miller and is sort of like a swing guy for that team. But, I mean, they have Ace Bailey going 6 to the Wizards. So
okay.
I don't know.
I'm sure GP will have a bunch of thoughts on Monday when he gets back.
Number 3.
Hey, you know what you don't do in baseball? Intentionally throw at people. And it happened last night. I'm pretty sure this was intentional.
Oh, dude, these teams hate each other.
I know. Well, the fans have hated each other forever, right?
Yeah.
Padres and Dodgers, one of the great rivalries and all that. And last night, Fernando Tatis came up to bat for the San Diego Padres. They were winning 5-0 at the time, and the Dodgers went up and in on him, and it hit him right in the wrist.
Yep.
We have video of this. Awful. Right where you have all those little bones and things that bend, and like the worst place you can get hit, really. And Dave Roberts and the Padres manager get into it.
Oh, let's go. Let's go. I love it.
Everybody unloading onto the field. The manager started, and now the players are involved too.
It was only a matter of time. Toddy's been hit twice and has each time handled it like a pro.
Again, this is a guy who's making his major league.
Oh, so did the Ohtani hit happen before this or after? Okay,
after.
the one that we're about to show after this one. Yeah.
All this happens.
He directs his attention to Dave, and there's the bump. It was Dave first, and you can see Espo kind of get back in there.
They almost go up in the stands. Watch, they end up against the net.
Mike off of Dave.
It's also a classic baseball fight where no one ever actually does anything.
A lot of movement.
Posturing. Hold me back, hold me back.
Yeah, I saw Machado said that the Dodgers better pray that his X-rays come back negative.
So all this happens, and then we get to the bottom of the ninth. Padres are up 5-0. Shohei Ohtani leads off for the Dodgers, as it just happens.
Mm-hmm.
And where do you think the pitch goes?
Right in his back. Let's see.
Hits Ohtani on this 3-0 pitch.
Boom. Right under the
shoulder.
shoulder.
Be sitting over there thinking, this guy really is not human.
He tells the team,
look at it.
he tells them, don't come out.
Everybody chill out.
Stay on the dugout. And then, watch this.
Not only did it not rattle,
he goes over and talks to the dugout. He's like, hey,
what
guys,
a gentleman.
I understand what happened. This is part of the game. You're going to throw at me.
And I guarantee, you're the Padres. And
damn, look at the Padres. Like, they just got scolded by a teacher.
They're like, this guy is better than all of us as a person. Shaking hands with Luis Arias.
That would make me so mad. Like, if I'm the Padres, that would just piss me off. Like, oh, really?
It makes it worse, right?
It does make it way worse.
So apparently Tatis is actually hurt. I don't know exactly how bad. They said in the postgame he had his hand wrapped up, and he said he didn't feel great. How about this? The Dodgers have hit Tatis 6 times in his career. The other 28 teams combined have hit Tatis 4 times in his career. So clearly there's some targeting going on here.
Oh yeah, for sure. They don't like each other. Machado's got the history because he played the season in L.A. After leaving Baltimore. I love Manny Machado, by the way. He's like one of my favorite players in the league. It hurt. It hurt when he left the Orioles.
Yeah.
I was super bummed about that. But yeah, man, it's fun. I love it. I love that we have these kind of rivalries, forming up in baseball. Did y'all have any? Y'all didn't have any fireworks in Mets Braves. That was because
we beat the Mets every time.
It was uneventful.
The Braves have won something like 25 of the last 33 against the Mets, or some crazy number like that. The Marlins used to always throw at the Braves for some reason. They hit Acuna in the hand a couple times.
Yeah.
And you're like the Marlins suck.
Yeah,
like,
why? Why are you doing this?
The one thing about that was they hit him in the hand, and I remember I interviewed Pedro Martinez for GQ when I was working at GQ. You remember Pedro said one time, he was like, if I ever had to pitch against Babe Ruth, I'd beat him. I'd throw it at him. So I asked Pedro, I was like, hey, if you did have to pitch against Babe Ruth, where would you hit him? And he gave me this very long political answer. It was great. He was like, well, I was just joking. Babe Ruth's one of the greats. I respect him.
Yeah.
For like about 2 minutes, Pedro talked about like, well, it was just a saying. I was just in an interview, and I love Babe Ruth. I was like, right, but if you did have to hit them, where would you hit him? He goes, oh, I'd hit him in the ass. He said the ass or the back. It's like the two places, but you don't throw at the head. You don't come up and in like that.
Yeah.
And I think that probably more than, like, if you get hit, you're up 5-0. It's your best player up to bat. If you get hit, if they throw it like behind you, if they throw it in your butt, all right, I understand. Going up and in like that, up on your hands, like that's dangerous. That's really bad. And especially now, we don't know. What if he's hurt? Like he's out for Austin Riley happened last year. Got hit in the hand. Missed the last 2 months of the season for the Braves. By the way, I don't know if you know, the Braves swept the Mets this week.
Yeah, I got it. Congratulations.
I am the beast. Ronald Acuna.
That's really rubbing it in, too, the fact that you're hosting his show.
At least Gary got to see Ronald Acuna hit a leadoff home run in person.
Oh, and he'll do the whole, well, I just love I don't hate the Braves. He does that. I know deep down it hurts, GP. I know deep down it hurts.
It must, man. Yeah. We're their daddy.
Wow.
As bad as the Braves have been this year, we've been terrible. To come into this series and sweep the friggin' Mets is hilarious.
Yeah, they lost 6 in a row, dude.
I know. Yeah, the Yankees did too. The Yankees finally they won last night, but both teams had lost like 5-6 in a row.
Yeah, how about that? All right, next.
Number 4.
Speaking of rivalry, Gary won this rivalry.
Well, not really. He was a Murray State fan,
that's right.
and Arkansas eliminated them.
But your team's out too.
Yeah, man, and it was pretty painful to watch. I was really fired up for this game, actually. I told you, as a lifelong Arkansas baseball fan, I've really been invested in this College World Series, and so I was locked in to that elimination game with them in LSU the other night, and it ended about as painful as you could possibly imagine. If we have the clip, let's watch how this thing unfolded for Arkansas.
He does get one to hit.
Catch it. Oh.
To the finals. They pitched to Jones and it bounced off the glove of Cam Kojal. And the Tigers are going back to the finals.
Wasn't there also a play where the left fielder dove and missed the ball? Yeah.
No, he handed that game to LSU. They did. Oh, that's brutal. The Loy brothers, we love them.
Classic Arkansas, though.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people throw out the word cursed. I think you could probably, say that's true when it relates to them. They have the College World Series has not been kind to the Hogs. That is very true. So it's going to be LSU and
Coastal Carolina Chanticleers.
What's a Chanticleer again?
It's a rooster, I think.
It's a rooster,
some sort of chicken.
Okay.
But Coastal Carolina has, I think, won 26 games in a row. Going into this thing, like that's about as hot as you can get. Against this
SEC juggernaut.
Yeah, so we'll see who pulls it off.
I would assume LSU's a heavy favorite.
I would assume. I don't know. I can look. I would assume they would be, because it seems like they're just the bigger team. Probably have more money invested in it. Although, like, you look at it and you're like, well, they've got the Coastal Carolina's hot, right?
Yeah.
Like there's not a hotter team.
Oh, dude, I really actually have enjoyed this a ton. these past couple months of college baseball, just because, again, in this NIL era of college football, college basketball especially, like, it is kind of fun seeing these underdog baseball teams be able to get in the mix here.
I don't know the series odds, but at least in this first game, which is tomorrow night, LSU's minus 175.
Oh, that ain't bad.
Yeah, over under 8.5.
So maybe it will be closer than we think. All right, cool. I'll be watching.
Number 5.
I went to the movies yesterday.
Speaking of watching,
I did. Went to the movies yesterday.
That's cool that you were able to go to the movies in the middle of the day. Didn't have things to work on.
Oh, dude, we're going out of town this weekend, and like I was mowing my yard yesterday. This is just like stupid dad stuff that no one cares about. But like I'm mowing my yard yesterday just to make sure everything looks nice before we leave. And my lawnmower broke like during the middle of it, so I have a half mowed yard right now.
Did you go to the movie?
Yeah, but it looks so stupid.
Did you go to the movie when it was half done?
No. This is before I was like, I'll get it done in like 30 minutes after we get back. But no, so my yard looks stupid, and I have to go buy a new lawnmower today. But anyways, I went and saw 28 Years Later, and buddy, it was amazing. I mean, exceeded expectations. This is, of course, the
third movie in the series.
Yeah, but it's not really like it's kind of like a reboot, if you will. Well, not it's still a continuation of the story, but
what's the story? Like zombies or
taking
over the earth?
A virus infects people. They turn into. I mean, you could call them zombies. Yeah,
but it was so long ago, I don't really remember. The first one was 28 days later. Yeah.
28 Days Later. It's the same director, Danny Boyle, who famously did Slumdog Millionaire.
Trainspotting.
Best Picture, Trainspotting. Yeah, a great director. Alex Garland's back with him, who did the screenplay. And this one obviously takes place 28 years later after the virus spreads through the UK. You don't have to see the first two to see this one. It kind of stands alone. I guess it would help a little bit, but you could see it without seeing the first two movies. Dude, as someone who's a horror movie fan, this is like the good stuff right here. And horror fans are eating this year with Sinners and this movie now.
So
if you're not into like gore and stuff like, then like don't go see it because you're not gonna.
I'm not a horror movie fan, and like I don't really know what quantifies something as a horror movie. Is it like being scared? Is it like blood and guts?
Oh yeah, I think
because to me, like Sinners didn't feel like a horror movie. It was just a scary movie, and it had vampires and crap in it.
Yeah, I think there's different qualifications.
Like there was only like 2 or 3 times in Sinners where there was like a jump scare,
right?
Like that kind of thing.
Yeah, I think there's different qualifications. Like Sinners is a horror movie.
Is it? I don't know. Like I loved it. I thought it was a great movie, but
I think you would put it in the horror category.
What's like the greatest?
See, you know what we call it these days? Elevated horror.
That's what the horror community calls it.
Elevated horror.
What's like the horror? I don't know the Mount Rushmore of horror movies.
Man, for me, God, you're putting me on the spot. I mean, I have to put the original Halloween, John Carpenter, 78. Yeah.
So that's like Halloween, Friday the 13th. Those movies are what I consider horror.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe I'm not. I don't know the genre as well. I think of like Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween. All that crap is horror. Not crap. All that stuff is horror movies to me. And saying that, like 28 Days Later, Sinners. Feels like there's like those old movies just it was just like a random scary supernatural person running around killing people. Well, I guess you could say that about Sinners too, but there's a lot more to it than that, though.
Right? Like, there's real story to that's what I mean. Elevated horror.
Is that the same with 28 months later?
Yeah, 28
later?
years. Yes. It's like I was surprised at how like emotional it was. I mean, I'm like, I'm invested in these characters. Like, it is not just zombies killing people. There's way more to it than this. Like, there is a great story involved in this movie, and this is the beginning of a new trilogy that they're planning on doing. That's why everybody's got to go see this. We got to get the box office numbers way up so they get the funding to be able to finish the trilogy, because it does kind of end on a, I wouldn't say cliffhanger, but it definitely sets up the next couple movies. Yeah, it definitely sets up the next couple movies. And it starts off, dude, I mean, a lot of people have been referencing the beginning of the second installment, 28 Weeks Later, is one of the most intense beginnings of a movie ever. When the families, have you seen that one?
No.
The family, there's the mom and the dad are in this little cottage with some other people, and the infected show up, and
I'm not going to see it.
It gets wild. Anyways, this one starts off pretty wild as well. You know, as a dad, like of a son, there's like a good father-son lesson in it.
Don't get eaten by zombies.
You know, Jodie Comer, the mom's great in it. Ray Fiennes. They got a great cast. Aaron Taylor Johnson, Ray Fiennes is in it. The kid that's the main character in the movie is great. I don't know his name off the top of my head, but he was awesome in the movie. It's hard to talk about what happens because I don't want to give away anything.
Yeah.
But basically, this family, it's the UK has been basically left to die. The island in mainland Europe, they got rid of the virus, and everybody's like living their normal lives. The UK was basically abandoned because that's where it all started, and so it's like these people live on this little island right off the coast of the mainland, and when the tide lowers, they're able to cross this little barrier to get to the mainland, and they can go, you know, for or scavenge for stuff. The mainland of the UK, I believe, but there's infected still there, and
so it's kind of like Jurassic Park 2, where they
it is back to the island. Yes,
they exile everyone and they figure out how to get back.
It's great, man.
Do you consider Silence of the Lambs a horror movie?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay.
It definitely fits.
To me, that's more like
I think anything when you involve like serial killer, there's
blood. Is there like an amount of blood that qualifies?
Yeah, I think so. I think you got to have some blood and some violence. Yeah.
I was saying my favorite horror movie of all time is, and it's got to be on the Mount Rushmore. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know how horror fans consider it. The Shining.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Stanley Kubrick.
I love
amazing.
that movie.
Yeah, it's amazing. No, this is really good. I highly recommend it. Again, if you get a little queasy at these kind of things, maybe it's not for you because there's some really intense moments.
Yeah.
But it was a great movie, dude, and we're having a good year for horror movies. Also, it's another big day in movies because it is the 50th anniversary of one of the greatest blockbusters of all time, Jaws.
Yes.
I think maybe one of the greatest summer movies ever.
Probably one of the greatest movies
of all time.
Yeah.
But don't you think of summertime when you think of
sure.
Jaws? Yeah, 4th of July, the beach. Yeah. It just it's
my wife's favorite movie
favorites.
of all time.
It's one of my favorites
so I've
too.
watched it a lot. I never watched it when I was a kid because I just didn't want to be like scared, you know.
Yeah.
But I've watched it a lot since then, and we showed it to my son about a year ago, and he liked it a lot. We go down to the beach a good amount, so like he's never mentioned it, but it makes me more aware when I'm at the beach. I'm always like, all right, let's. So, but yeah, awesome movie. And there's something on Max or some. I saw a commercial for a documentary.
Yeah, they're doing a
it.
documentary. I believe it just came out, just celebrating the 50th anniversary. No, dude, that opening scene of that movie.
Yeah.
I'm conflicted because my older kid, Noah, who's 6, he is fascinated with scary stuff. He doesn't want to watch the movies, and he can't. He's 6. I'm not going to let him watch people getting brutally murdered on film yet. Like, he's not ready for that.
Yeah.
But he wants to know about all of it. Michael Myers, Leatherface, Ghostface. He wants to know Freddy Krueger. He wants Chucky.
These
He
bedtime
loves
stories
Chucky.
at your house?
He just wants to know about all of it. And I wonder where Jaws fits in.
Well, you don't really see anyone get killed, right? I mean, you just see them.
You see him get dragged under.
Well,
you see the
them
blood.
go into the water. You see blood, but you don't see like the leg get bitten off or whatever. I guess there is a part where they cut open the one shark and like there's like a hand or something in there.
Yep.
And then at the end, I think, don't you see Quint get eaten alive?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that might be a little much.
I think he's ready.
Toughen
It's the
him up.
50th anniversary.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a sign for us to watch that movie together.
Aren't you guys going to the water?
That's the thing. Well, we're going to the lake, so a little different.
I mean, when you're 6, there's not much difference in the lake and the ocean.
Yeah, he could buy that there's sharks in that lake.
Tell him there's a Loch Ness. There's the Arkansas Ness monster in there.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we might have to do that this weekend.
All right.
We might have to do Jaws. But also it's gone now, but the Jaws ride at Universal Studios was always one of the best. I can't believe they got rid of that.
I know.
It was amazing, dude. That was one of the best rides ever. Like a boat ride and a shark attacks you and there's an explosion. So I think they still actually have that ride in the one in Tokyo, I believe.
Okay.
I think the other the overseas Universal's in Tokyo. But I think they still have it there, and they still have like a little scene in the one in Hollywood, but it's not like that original ride.
I feel like the Disney's,
amazing.
the MGM or not the Hollywood Studios in Florida, they have like a giant shark hanging from a thing.
They do. You get a picture.
Yeah. Sort of like they have a Bass Pro Shop. You know, they'll have like some of those Bass Pro Shops, they have a big fish hanging outside where you take a picture of them.
They still carry on the legacy, I guess. But again, 28 years later, highly recommend. It's one of the best movies I've seen this whole year. You guys definitely should go check it out. And you don't have to see the first two movies to be able to catch on with this one. It might help. I think 28 days later, the first one's free on Pluto right now.
Right.
So you can watch that one for free. And I think weeks later is on Hulu. I'm almost positive that one's on Hulu. So you can check those out.
Some
and go
people in
see
the chat are naming their favorite horror movie. So get in there and drop your names. All right, we're going to take a break. We're going to come back, get GP's carryout on here. You're watching The Gary Parrish Show on Grind City Media.
There are futures for Aaron Judge possibly hitting 400. Hitting 400 at the All-Star break, plus 600.
Oh, wow.
To have a 400 batting average in the regular season, plus 3,800. To win the Triple Crown is only plus 145.
I don't think he's going to hit 400 for the season.
I don't either. I that would be
ridiculous.
Yes, ridiculous.
The Odds Couple, live at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Overwhelming demand, the Summer of '99 tour returns. July 27th, FedEx Forum. With very special guest, Daughtry. And Mammoth. Tickets on sale now at LiveNation.com. Don't miss Creed with Daughtry and Mammoth. The Summer of '99 tour.
You've seen the Grizz line jamming on the court and rocking out on Beale Street, and this is your chance to join the best drum line in the NBA. Grizz line entertains Grizz Nation at home games and events in the Mid-South through their impressive techniques and energetic shows. If you have experience in drumming and marching and love entertaining, Grizz line is the perfect opportunity for you to combine percussion and performance. Open auditions are Saturday, August 9th at FedEx Forum. Sign up today by visiting grizzlies.com/auditions.
These are the Jordan 1, the crystals. These are the shoe that retails for $1,000. Oh, extra crystals. So if your crystals fall off, if your crystals fall off, actually these are the black crystals because they have. So the shoe has black crystals on there as well too. So you get an extra package of black crystals.
The Sneak Fest Show, live Tuesdays at 2 p.m. on Grind City Media on X, YouTube, and the official Grind City Media mobile app.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans, want exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you during the Grizzlies 2024-2025 season? Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
Welcome back to the Gary Parrish Show. Bennett, Lang, Kyra, we're all here. Getting you through today, getting you ready for the weekend. Beautiful shot of downtown Memphis in the background. Might have a visitor, a VIP visitor coming to town.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
Stephen A.
Stephen A.
Yeah, him and
Solitaire
I saw
Steve.
him and the mayor linked up, and he might take him up on his offer to come visit. You know what? Actually, I will say, I know I was critical and giving him all the flack like for his comments and stuff this week. I will say, like, if he does end up coming to Memphis for a tour with the mayor and trying to make some good, respect. I'll just say it. Put your money where your mouth is.
Yeah. Play some solitaire. Go.
I mean,
go over to West Memphis.
For
play
real,
some solitaire.
I'm being serious. Like,
Right.
I can respect that. I can. I still thought the comments were out of line, but whatever.
I agree.
It's all good. Like
Yeah.
enjoy
it.
I thought that was a positive development.
Enjoy the 901.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, let's get into GP's carryout.
All right.
It's time for GP's Carryout. One final segment filled with stuff to take with you. It's not everything you need to know, but it's most of it. What did we learn today?
Game 7. We got a Game 7 coming on Sunday night. We learned that the Pacers aren't dead yet. If this is a horror movie, the Pacers keep coming out of that closet.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, the Pacers keep coming out from under
Michael
the bed.
Myers in Halloween 5.
You cannot kill the Pacers. They keep fighting back. And so I think on this Game 7 on Sunday, we know that there's still a chance. There's still a chance for the Pacers to win this thing. Ethical basketball might get its flowers before this series is over. So I think that's the main thing I learned.
Yeah, I'm fired up, dude. It's gonna be a lot of fun. If you're like, I still think that this is probably. It feels like Thunder.
Yeah.
Doesn't it? Doesn't it just feel like a Thunder blowout?
Well, maybe it's.
And that would be so unfair.
Maybe
Like, they don't deserve that. They deserve to be scared in this game. The way that they treated that game last night.
If this is a horror movie, which character are the Thunder? Like the good-looking captain of the football team who has the hot girlfriend.
Yeah.
Who you think like, all right, this guy's, everything goes his way.
And who are the Pacers? Like the nerds?
No, the Pacers are like the crazy, like the Michael Myers. The weird,
I got you.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like,
Okay.
Yeah, the Pacers are the villain, not the villain. The Pacers are the sometimes the hero of the horror movie, the main character.
Okay.
But but I would say the Thunder are like the handsome quarterback of the football team with the hot girlfriend, and everything goes their way. They go off to camp, go out in the woods one night, try to like spend a little quality time with the girlfriend, and here come the Pacers.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping we get a great Game 7. I just hope it's not a blowout. one way
I
or
hope
the
so
other.
too, dude. I'm the same way.
What's today's biggest game?
All right, we don't have a ton of options tonight, so I'm just going to go with my team. The Orioles are on TV. They're in New York taking on the dreaded Yankees. It's going to be on MLB Network, so you can watch it. It's Tomoyuki Sugano versus Max Fried tonight on the mound. The Orioles, they're not having a very good season. They fired their manager early in the year, 32-42. Yankees snapped their losing streak.
Beat the Angels.
I believe it's, let's see, what do we got here? It's Yankees minus 285. I'll just you know what? I want to have fun on a Friday night. I'll go O's. Let's go O's. It's baseball. It's regular season baseball. Anything can happen.
The Braves tonight are playing at Miami, and they called up a minor leaguer to make a spot start. He's 20 years old. Didier Fuentes is his name. He's got a ton of strikeouts and not a lot of walks. He's also 0-7. But he's so interesting to see how this guy, he's 48 strikeouts, 12 walks in the minors this year.
Yeah.
But there's a pitcher for the Marlins tonight, their starting pitcher. And if you look on the MLB thing and it shows you the names of the pitchers, his name is Junk.
Junk?
Junk. And I was like, who is this guy? And I look him up. His name's Jansen Junk.
Okay.
I mean,
that's pretty cool.
He's got to be a junk ball pitcher, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
He's got to be.
I guess so.
You cannot have like a 95 plus fastball.
Yeah.
Jansen Randall Junk.
All right. I like it.
What are we watching on TV?
That Jaws documentary you're talking about, it doesn't come out till July, so you got to wait a little bit.
How could they not put that thing out today?
Just watch Jaws.
Yeah.
Just watch Jaws. It's the 50th
So you
anniversary.
said Jaws 2 is good.
It's not bad. It's not bad. I mean, it's not good.
I've avoided it.
It's not good. It's not bad.
Okay, speaking of horror movies, the other night, Tuesday night, at my house, Monday night, we watched The Birds. the Alfred Hitchcock movie.
Classic. I believe it was his last, one of his last movies.
Great movie. My son was like scared a couple. There's a scene where the birds like peck a guy's eyes out.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It's kind of,
I loved it. I loved it as a kid. Yeah.
So we watched it, and then on it was on Netflix, I think.
Yeah, they have a bunch of his.
Then it serves up to watch The Birds 2 next.
Oh. Yeah.
And so that's what Jaws 2.
Did you watch it?
No, I was like,
it's so bad.
I knew Hitchcock wasn't involved
so
with it.
bad.
Yeah, but that makes me think Jaws 2, like, because I'm pretty sure like Spielberg wasn't involved with that one, was he? Jaws 2.
He was probably an executive producer. I know Roy
Scheider's in
is
it.
back. Yeah,
but the best character in Jaws is Quint.
I think that's true.
He doesn't make it out of Jaws, so like,
Right.
you know.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not bad. Now all the ones after 2 are just hot
Because
garbage.
there's like Jaws 6.
Yeah, there's Jaws the Revenge that Michael Caine was famously in, and he had a hilarious quote this week. He was asked about it, and he said, "You know, I can't sit here and say I remember much of it, but I do remember the nice house that it bought my mother."
Yeah.
So that was kind of funny. The funny thing about you mentioned The Birds 2, and Netflix has like a bunch of the famous Hitchcock movies on there right now, which I'd recommend any of those to watch tonight. I recently watched Psycho 2, which actually is not a bad sequel. It's okay, and Anthony Perkins is back in it. It's actually not that bad. I think it's on Netflix too.
So Jaws 2, I looked it up, the cast.
Yeah.
On the poster, it says Roy Scheider.
Yeah.
Lorraine Gary, who plays his wife in the movies. Then it says Murray Hamilton. So I guess Richard Dreyfuss isn't in this one. Or
no.
Well, Quint can't be in it. But I don't know who Murray Hamilton is.
And Roy's not in it a ton either. It's mainly about his like kids that go out and get stuck in the ocean.
Directed by Star. I don't see Spielberg's name anywhere in this like list.
He didn't want nothing to do with it.
Although the budget was $20 million, it made $208 million at the box office.
Okay. Another one, Minecraft, just dropped on HBO. Yeah. If you got kids, like I took Noah to see it at the movie theater. He really wanted to go check it out. And I was like, okay, this is probably going to be terrible. Yeah. It was surprisingly pretty good. Huh. Like I actually really liked it.
Jack Black's fun to watch.
Yeah, he's funny in it. Jason Momoa's kind of funny in it. I really liked it. I thought it was pretty good. It's worth watching for sure.
I stumbled over School of Rock the other day.
Great.
And I was watching it. But my first thought was Jack Black is kind of let himself go between that and Minecraft.
He's gotten old, dude.
But he also is kind of. But then you and I were talking about band movies, music movies. Yeah. And School of Rock's a pretty good one. But then I was also thinking High Fidelity is a good one too. It's not a band movie, but it's
so great.
Music's the key.
Record
to the
store
whole thing.
movie.
Yeah. Anyway,
I love that movie. Okay, that's what we're watching.
What's the best thing we've read?
So I read an article this morning on The Athletic about, and Bennett, as a baseball fan, you'll appreciate this. There's a pitcher in the minor leagues who's trying to bring back the knuckleball.
Okay.
And he throws an 89-mile-an-hour knuckleball. Because the whole thing of the knuckleball was always like a 60-mile-an-hour. It was real slow. Yeah. And you can't predict which way it's going to go. He's figured out some way to throw like an 89-mile-an-hour knuckleball.
Yeah.
That still is shaken and hard to figure out. His name is Kenny Surwa. His knuckler hit 88.5 miles per hour this winter, and he's kind of making his way through the minors now, and teams are sort of interested. They talked to R.A. Dickey in this article, who played for the Mets, the Blue Jays, won the Cy Young 1 year. Probably the last like great knuckleballer we had. And he was saying like it's a dying art. Like nobody's interested in kind of learning it anymore.
Yeah, I got you.
No one really knows how to teach it, I guess. When I was a kid, I was a Braves fan, and Phil Niekro, like last season, was with the Braves, and the whole Braves team was these young guys. Then you had this guy with gray hair who was like in his late 40s, but he could still like chew up innings and pitch, and he was okay. There's not any guys like that anymore, really.
Right.
So, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see if we can find. We need one more knuckleballer. They said the last knuckleballer was I can't remember what team he was on, but there's some guy who's like a position player who's thrown a couple of innings when the team is getting blown out, and he throws a knuckleball, but that's pretty much it.
I got you. Okay.
Bring back the knuckler.
Bring it back.
What's on tap next week?
GP's going to be back. in studio getting you ready for the draft. It's a huge week next week. It feels like we're going to find out who the NBA champion is. We got the NBA draft coming up. We got our big draft show on Wednesday. So he'll be here on Monday. I ain't going to be here. I'm going on vacation for a couple of days, but I'll be back for the draft too. We're excited about that. It'll be fun. We're going to have a blast next week.
Yeah. I'll be around next week. We got all the regular shows. We got that big draft show on Wednesday. And then 4th of July is like the week after that. So
I love it, man. Appreciate you hosting this week.
It was fun, man. I love hanging out with you guys. Appreciate you guys in the chat, everywhere else. And we'll see you soon. So for Bennett, for Kyra, I'm Lang Whitaker. Appreciate you watching us all week long here on the Gary Parrish Show. Have a good weekend. See you soon.